I know. Instant copyright strike. Welcome back, folks. This week we've actually got a build that's pretty close to my heart. Now, the 76 that we had when I was a kid was a long bed, but it's still the truck that we had when I was growing up. Dalton's Silver Dollar Chevy is what's called a sport truck, but it's still nostalgic for me. Let's get started. I'm starting with an Auto World model of a 78, but we're not super worried about the cab. What we need is the bed. I really do like this model just the way it is, but we actually have to cut the grill out of it, then replace it, etc., etc. The easier route is to use a Greenlight cab and use the grill that we pulled out of the original cab for Old Blue a couple of months ago. Did you get all that? Well, the cab is off of the frame, so let's get the rest of it pulled apart and then get it off to the paint booth for stripping. Glass doesn't want to come out. The bumper and grill on this model is molded to the fenders. I can't use it. This one, however, can be pulled out with some delicacy. Fantastic. Let's get on to those glamour shots. I'm kidding, but you can see what I'm going for here, right? Since I'm merging three different models from two different manufacturers, some modification is obvious. The bed is clearly too high for the cab. I'll cut off the bed brackets and then send this thing off to the goo for stripping as soon as we've figured out the frame. Now, the original wheels on the fire truck frame more closely resembled the ones on the Silver Dollar, so I'm just going to use them. The original frame also has the added advantage of being roughly the right height, so win. The frame, however, is a little too long, so a little trim, and that should be about it for that. Now, I've spoken with Dalton about it, so here's a little insider information. Aside from the cowl hood, the truck's going to look stock. Since I didn't know much about the sport truck or the pinstripes, I had to do a little research and some sizing. I won't make you endure all of this. Suffice it to say, it took a while. Once we're done clearing off the goo and the stripped paint, we can see what we're working with. I know that the frame will have to be shortened, but I don't know by how much. It's time for some measurement. And now to try to clean all the paint off. There are a lot of nooks and crannies on this truck, so I may have to put it back in the goo. As I clear all the paint off, I'm also trying to figure out how to take care of the grill. I don't want to waste a bunch of time if I don't have to, but it may be unavoidable. The grill I have just won't fit on this cab. A lot of little extra trimming was needed for the frame. Even a millimeter of extra material at this scale could equal several inches in reality. I need to get the bed closer to the frame. The original peg studs will have to be shaved down flat. Well, it's definitely better, but it's still not quite right. More shaving is required. Alrighty, let's see where this leaves us. Well, I think that's good enough. Let's polish it up and get it into primer. Right now, I'm formulating an idea of how to mount the grill properly, but I may regret it later. In the meantime, I'll completely forget about the holes in the roof from the original light bar until after I prime the cab. No biggie. You remember all those nooks and crannies I mentioned earlier? The frame is starting to look pretty decent, but it's still not quite right. You see this tiny little sliver of plastic right here? It's preventing the bed from sitting flat. It has to go. I'm cutting as closely and as gently as I possibly can. Remember that I want to save these wheels and tires. It's better, but now I can see that the back of the cab is too low. I'll need to brace it up somehow. I've decided to use a scrap piece of PLA that I couldn't use for the new shop build. It should give me the right height. Alright, let's hit it with some primer. Well, for the first time, I mean. Do you see the holes for the light bar? In his most recent video to date, Dalton installed the wood floor in his bed. I think I'm going to let Foggy handle the super fine detail on that, but I'll just paint the wood. Just a few more minor details, and I think we've kicked this pig. I just wanted to stop for a moment and show everyone exactly how talented a painter Foggy really is. She even did silver dollars laying on the seat and floorboards. Alrighty, let's start getting this beast back together. I'll button up the finishing touches and decals, but I won't make you suffer through all that. How about those glamour shots?